ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्मविद्याचार्याय नचिकेतसे number 6 on the page 5. सर्वे वेदा यत्पदमामनन्ति तपांसि सर्वाणि च यद्वदन्ति यदिच्छन्तो ब्रह्मचर्यं चरन्ति तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण ब्रवीमि। ओमित्येतत् तत्ते पदं संग्रहेण ब्रवीमि। I'm telling you about that padam, that goal, destination, which happens to be one's own self. Meaning that, hey Nachiketa, you asked about the instruction into the knowledge of the self. You further clarified your question. The self is also that reality that transcends everything that is relative. Anyatra dharmat, anyatra dharmat. What we call dharma and adharma, the righteous and unrighteous, both are relative to each other. cause and effect are also relative, well, standpoints. Dharma also is a standpoint, adharma is a standpoint, cause is a standpoint, effect is a standpoint, past is a standpoint, future is a standpoint. We require all of these to live our life. So we require, it is not that just because dharma and adharma are relative, that both are equal. That we say relative doesn't equal. It is true that we have to overcome the tendency of adharma by deliberately living the life of dharma. Because adharma stems from the rajas and tamas. And therefore, living life of dharma enables us to get rid of this impurity of rajas and tamas, raga, dvesha, attachment, aversions. So certainly dharma is very important. In the life, the relative life that we are living, dharma is important, all values are important. Ultimately, we should recognize that that also is a standpoint, also relative. Meaning that a time should come when we should be able to rise above also the dharma. Some kind of ego also that this dharma or righteousness sometimes creates that I am a dharmic person. You are a dharmic. So even from that also one has to grow out. Because there is also that even dharmic I, the truthful I, is also my ultimate nature. It's pretty close to my nature, but not ultimate nature. In I, even the idea of the dharma or the truth, which are all relative, none of them remains. Interesting thing is, we use the word satyam or truth for both kinds of truths. Because only one word called satyam. So we use the word satyam or truth. What is satyam or truth in our day-to-day life, which we call relative truth. And we use the word satyam also the absolute truth, because that's only one word we have. So therefore we should know the meaning of a given word from the context in which the word is used. So Upanishad says Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That Brahman or the reality or Ishvara is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Satyam means truth. Jnana means knowledge. Ananta means infinite. So this word Satyam or the truth is used in our day-to-day language, which is helpful. That the truth that we speak or practice enables us to establish a harmony with the absolute truth. That's why this value is important. But dharma also is used for righteousness or the order in our relative life. Ultimately, the word dharma is also used for Ishvara. So relative is required in our life to tune up with the absolute. So ultimately, we drop the relative to be able to become one with the absolute. So Nachikéta, you asked about that absolute reality also. All of that is expressed in one word, Om. So interesting enough, Om stands for all that is relative as well as stands for what is transcendental. Meaning what? That which transcends relative also. What is relative is what we call the qualified Brahman, Saguna Brahman, Brahman or Ishvara with qualifications, attributes. And what is absolute is what we call Brahman or Ishvara beyond attributes. Sagunam with attributes, Nirgunam that transcends attributes. A technical point just for the information of some. Swamiji, how can you use the word Saguna or with attributes of Brahman? How can Brahman be both with attributes and without attributes? And how can it be both? How can Brahman be with attributes and it transcends the attributes also? But it is like this, like an actor who is a beggar also, and king also, and transcends the beggar also. So the actor simultaneously pervades the king and beggar and whatever roles are there. At the same time, he transcends also. Meaning that even though he appears as a beggar, he does not become beggar. He remains free from the beggarliness. So beggar is something that is superimposed upon the actor. Beggar is mithya, actor is satyam, the mithya is superimposed upon satyam. So when we say saguna, saguna means what? Gunena savardhate. That which obtains along with guna or attributes is called saguna, with attributes. So that which obtains with guna or attributes is called saguna. So looks like that and guna, both of them are of the same degree of reality, but that's not so. That which obtains with guna, all the gunas or attributes are mithya or relative, and that is absolute. Meaning that when it is Saguna Brahma, these gunas or attributes are all superimposed upon Brahma. So this is Saguna Brahma, the manifest Ishvara, is same Ishvara, upon whom or upon which these attributes, qualities, names and forms are superimposed. That's called creation. When Brahman, which is in its true nature devoid of all attributes and qualities and allows the superimposition of these attributes and names and forms take place, that is called creation. So Om stands for both. And therefore, first of all, tuning up with Ishvara with attributes becomes the means of knowing the Ishvara that transcends attributes. So first step is tuning up with Ishvara with attributes. That is called life of dharma, life of values, life of devotion, life of bhakti. Bhakti, devotion, surrender. This is the way of tuning up with Ishvara, who is manifest, what you call order. And that becomes the stepping stone for recognizing Ishvara as my own self. So, when Ishvara is with attributes, and I am the devotee with attributes, there is going to be a duality. So when I relate to Ishvara with attributes, the one who relates to me, I also think that I am possessed of attributes of limitedness, and therefore there is a sort of duality which I think it is. Meaning all worship and contribution and surrender, all of that presupposes a duality between the Bhakta and Bhagavan, the devotee and the Lord. But that's the working duality. That is the kind of duality which becomes the stepping stone for transcending the duality. So how to transcend the duality? Through duality. That is a way of relating to duality in an intelligent manner that we can transcend it. If we relate to duality in an unintelligent manner, then we get further sunk in the duality. So Shreyas and Preyas, these were told to us. Shreyas is a way of functioning in duality which ultimately helps us grow out of duality. Preyas is a way of relating to duality which makes us further sink into the duality. So Vedanta has no problem with duality. Duality would become a problem if it was real. It is relative, mithya. But we have no problem with it. We have no resentment or any kind of problem with duality or aversion for duality. Duality also is utilized, becomes a means or becomes a stepping stone. So, right relation with duality is a stepping stone for transcending duality. And wrong relation with duality is a way of sinking into it further. And then the right way is taught to us is called yoga, karma yoga, values, bhakti. So Om represents both. As you all know, Omkara is made up of the three letters A, U, Ma. In Sanskrit there is sandhi. When these vowels come together, then they coalesce. So Akara and Ukara, when they come together, they become O. So when we really utter Om, only two things are, two letters are uttered, O and Ma. When that O, the A and O, both of them are contained. So we don't say Aum, we don't put it, say that way. Although some people do, they write A-U-M and Aum, just to perhaps do justice to the three mantras, but no. You neither write A-U-M, nor do you now pronounce A-U-M, you write O-M and pronounce Om. And as I said, then you know what the Mandukya Upanishad has done. It utilizes three matras of letters. The structure of Om has been very well utilized to transcend this relative world. Where these three matras or letters A-U-M are equated to all this relative world, the objective world. So first of all you tune up with that, and when you drop Om, then everything gets dropped. So this is a prakriya, understand? This is a method of becoming or growing out of duality and recognizing Ishvara as my own self. Every Upanishad provides its own method. So Mandukya Upanishad provides this method. Om is the sound, like I am, Dream, Dream, etc. But Mandukya Upanishad takes that Om and superimposes us, upon that. So Akara, Ukara, Makara is waking, dream, deep sleep, creation, sustenance, dissolution. Waker, dreamer, sleeper. Inasmuch as this relative universe is made up of all these groups of three, we can superimpose upon akara, ukara, makara, all those three, and that's how Om represents the entire universe, entire manifest universe, or Ishvara with attributes. If this universe is manifestation of Ishvara with attributes, then Om with its three matras represents the entire universe. So Kathopanishad further says, Idad alambanam shreshtam, Edat alambanam param. This is called alambanam. Omkar is called alambanam. Alambanam means a springboard or a stepping stone or a prop or a support. Like when you want to dive, the springboard, you tune up and then dive. There are examples of Paraswamiji. Or when the aeroplane wants to fly, at first there is a runway on which first it gets acceleration and then it flies. So flying, just as you require that preparation. So all the meditation or worship, etc., all become like the preparation to prepare the mind ultimately to drop that. A nice example is the wall pole, where I lift myself with the help of the pole, and let go of the pole and cross the barrier. So all upasanas, meditations, worship, all of these are meant to serve this purpose. That we first tune up with that and then let it grow out of it. Let it go. People have lots of problems not understanding this. Hindus are all idol worshippers, this worshipper. It's not stupid to not think that. But all these are means, of tuning up. Omkara also is a means of tuning up. Then Omkara is a very subtle thing. That gives them a tangible thing. That is Omkara in that form. So what we call a murti is also an alambana. They call it pratika, a symbol, alambana, a hell, a prop. So you first tune up with alambana. And that helps you to ultimately transcend that alambana. First tune up with the gold pole. That helps you to transcend that very pole. This is the whole idea of all worship. And worship is always in duality. And then you require, the Hindus feel that Ishvara being what he is, which is devoid of names and forms and attributes, that human mind cannot really think about that, visualize that, meditate upon that. So mind is given something easier, but something which enables the mind to then cross over or transcend, not just anything. So the objects of meditation are given there, but Bhashyakara are always explaining upasana and meditation. We always say that one should meditate upon the symbols given by Shastra, by the scriptures. So which are proven means of helping us to tune up with Ishvara. So it is all these murtis are given us with all time-tested things. Number of devotees have been able to tune up with that form, Devata, and then tune up with Ishvara. So if you don't like murti, all right, then there are all these sound symbols. Now there are names, Rama, Krishna. If you have a problem with that, then all right, it's meaningless sounds. I am Reem, Cream, this. So therefore, some people, because different people have different comfort level, depending upon one's upbringing, and you just don't, I'm not comfortable with form. Possible. Don't tell me about this form. And don't tell me the shape. I said, okay, here it is. Oh, take it. I read. Rama, no. Because there is some Rama means there is a person, some personality involved there and some emotion. So maybe you're not comfortable with that. You may have your own problem with Rama and Krishna and everybody. So everything is in repertoire, everything is available. For emotional person also something is available, for other for everybody something. It's such a rich tradition. Coming down to us for thousands of years. Therefore, every kind of a seeker, something is available. It's like a big buffet. You have a vast choice. You are a vegetarian, non-vegetarian, you are naturopathy, or you are Ayurvedic, whatever you are, everything is there. You only one God and one book, so that means only khichdi you have. That's all. What is a disadvantage is all, promoted as an advantage, and what is an advantage is ridiculed as a disadvantage. This is the whole politics, spiritual politics. And poor Hindus are idiots and they don't understand what the depth and the richness of the culture is, and they feel all embarrassed. Swami, we have so many gods, because Hindus are the least informed, educated about their own religion, unfortunately. Anyway, that's all beside the point. The thing is that in the times of Upanishad, all these things, idols, etc., were not there. They came later on. As the acharyas discovered the needs, and these all developed, evolved in course of time. So all the Pauranic devatas, Rama, Krishna, these were not there at the time of Kathopanishad. So Ganesha, all these things were not there. So Om. In the Vedas, we find Om and similar also, sounds and names also. The certain devatas are there in Vedas also. So this is a secular thing, that means nobody will have any kind of problem with Om or with the meaningless sound. Because there is no association at all. At the same time, every sound comes from Vedas and therefore it has a significance in terms of it carries a certain kind of energy, they would say. Now, people don't like the energy and vibration, etc. I won't use it, but then everything carries with it. And that is what our Maharshi Maheshwari did. The reason why he became so successful in the West is he gave the meaningless sounds. So people have no emotional business with that. No reactions. And they can repeat somebody shreem, 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 aim, something is all given. And everybody was given a mantra. And people benefited from that. I mean, it's not for no reason that, thousands of people were following him, because all of them found benefit from that. Whatever the brand name was, transcendental meditation, etc. So all that, marketing things are always there. Seemed to help people because there was no emotional association, no cultural association. You don't feel that I'm Hindu or I'm have to get converted out of something like that and that. So when they come to Gurukulam, all these people feel uncommon and all these all rituals and stuff, things like that. So it's all kept free from all that. Although rituals are all meant for it, it's just nothing but process of tuning up. Tuning up with Ishvara. So Karma Yoga is tuning up with Ishvara. Rituals all tuning up with Ishvara. All meditation, all tuning up with Ishvara. Everything. Do what you like to do. It's not that you have to do this. It's not that you have to worship Ishvara only in the Murti. There is no rule. It's given to you, your choice. So in India itself there are countless kinds of all these sampradayas, and even Sri Krishna is worshipped in so many ways. There is a tradition in which Krishna is worshipped without form. They offer ornaments and stuff like that, but there is no form there. So it's amazing how people have evolved so many forms of worship, depending upon how they were comfortable. So here, of course, all those things are not there. And therefore you feel comfort. Om. So Om is the name of Brahman. He has many names. Every name is his name, really speaking. So why we say Om? Because it has a name which has a certain property. Because coming from Vedas and that, but it has a certain impact. It may have a certain effectiveness. In Alambanam Sheshtam, many names are there among them. Om is the most exalted name because it perhaps is most effective. All this is time tested. If you accept it only based on what we are told, that is where, and then do it. So something has to be done. And something has to be understood. When it comes to worship, we have to do it. Why? Explain to me, give me reason. There are no, as far as doing is concerned, you just have to do. And then find out for yourself the result. So whenever children keep on asking this mother, why should I put this? They do it. So then we have to tell them that there is no reason, this is how it is to be done. And you have to do it to find out the result. We did it and we found the result. So there is something to be done and something to be understood. When it comes to upasana, when it comes to all these forms of worship, we may not necessarily have explanations as to why. We just have to do things. Because that's what has been found effective by the acharyas and they were handed over this tradition to us. As Swami said, Lux, 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 that soap, that brand name is created and then when you go to a shop and say, I want Lux, you don't say, I want bathing soap, Lux. And so Ganesha, 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 all the centuries, so this kind of things have been created. But before all of that, so Om, you can trace the source of all of this into Om. Alambanam. Like a wall, like a pole. So that's an example, don't reduce it to that kind of a thing. The point is that meditation upon Om. Also now, the Om becomes both the object of worship, means of, as well as means of knowledge. So they say that in the beginning, we said yesterday, that a word reveals its meaning only when our mind is prepared for the revelation of that meaning. So Om also will reveal its meaning. If Om is the name of Brahman, then Om also should reveal its meaning in my mind because the name should necessarily reveal the meaning for which it stands. A word should reveal the meaning. If that does not reveal, that doesn't mean that it is not the name, it means that I have to only prepare my mind. So there also Om is a means. Just look, worship Om. As though that is Ishvara. So with the attitude that is Ishvara, you keep on repeating Om. Sometimes people find mentally repetition difficult and they write Om, so you have something intangible in front of you. Use that. So use whatever you require in order to worship, in order to invoke the attitude of worship in your mind, in order to focus your mind. So you require sound, okay. You require a physical figure, okay. Om is written in so many ways, by the way. We are familiar with one way. There are every language its own way of writing Om. That's interesting. 11, 12 ways of writing Om. Would you believe that? After it's a sound, how do you write it? Well, everybody is thought in their own way. So somebody writes some ways, some different ways, and so the idea is that, okay, then this is called, then it becomes a figure. That's called yantra, So then mantra is there, yantra is there, and then some symbols, tantra is there. So many things are there to express your feelings, to tune up. And then it all became more tangible in terms of this puja. So when mental things become more difficult for people to concentrate, Something more tangible is given. To invoke the devotion, what is important is to invoke devotion from us. Whatever helps us do that, do it. There is nothing right and wrong about that. Therefore, if form is given, it attracts you, okay. So that's what the idea of Ishtadevata, how the chosen deity came. Anyway, so idea is, this is what the bhakti or meditation is what Yamaraja or the teacher is prescribing here, with Om as the most effective name of Brahman or Ishvara. And as you said, that is for creating that mind where the word can reveal the meaning. So worshipping Om itself being the means of creating that mind, tuning up. So first stage is to worship Ishvara as Om. So repeat that Om, that mantra in your mind with the attitude that is Ishvara, whatever worshipful attitude. That helps us to tune up with that, and ultimately Om reveals its meaning. That Akara, Ukara, Makara, and then so Baker, dreamer, deep sleeper, and then the fourth, the Turiya. So Om is the third. Om, Om, Om. If you just explain, the three letters of Om stand for the entire universe of Saguna Brahma. And then between two utterances, Om, there is silence, and that stands for the Brahman without the attributes. So in the beginning you focus upon Om, then you focus upon silence. That's how our Swami used to teach us. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Mantra, silence, mantra, silence. So first, attention is a mantra, mantra, mantra. When the mind is tuned up with that, then mantra, silence, mantra, silence, silence, mantra, silence, mantra, silence, silence, silence. So that Om, which is Saguna Brahma, leads to silence, which is Nirguna Brahma. That Saguna Brahma meditation becomes a means of identifying with Nirguna Brahma. So Om serves both the purpose. And as I said, every name serves that purpose. Later on, all these names, Rama, Krishna, or Shiva, all of these nothing but the replacement for Om. So you follow? Because, there are all kinds of problems with the Vedic words and whether can I chant it or not chant it, forget it. And then, okay, you use Rama. You can chant Rama anytime, no problem. To the extent that whether you take your bath or doesn't matter, you chant Rama in your mind. With Om, you better be careful, with something Vedic and there, if there's some reservation there and somebody else, that doesn't matter. I don't have to insist. So Om, because that is what existed at that time, later on we have so many other names. And when that name is not anyways given a form, that's called a murti. Something more tangible. From that to the name to this and to that. So it's all stepping stones. I'm saying all so much because just to understand the tradition, the Vedic tradition, the Hindu tradition, its dimension, its richness, its wealth, and all the thinking and the experience that go behind that. So, having now prepared Nasiketa, or anybody else, maybe Nasiketa may or may not have needed this preparation, but in case an Adhikaya student needs it, just not to take any chances, the teachers always do this. Very often we find the instruction about the meditation also, which is worship. Meditation, not a mechanical meditation, it's a concentration. It is concentrating the mind with the attitude of worship. So Om meditation or any other meditation as far as Vedanta is concerned is a form of mental worship. So Upasana means mental worship. Meaning that we always prefer meditation that involve Ishvara, not some secular meditation. That's all okay. Concentrating on some objects and chakra, all of this is fine. It has different purpose. To invoke some energies and gaining some experiences. And so many things are there. But as far as this is concerned, this is a form of worship. Mental worship. Upasana means mental worship. And for worship, some props are given, symbols are given, pratika is given. To help us tune up with what that pratika stands for. Tune up with what Om stands for in this case. So that ultimately that Om also becomes a means of knowledge, that Om reveals its meaning as Brahman or as a self. So what first is the object of worship becomes then the means of knowledge. So both these are there in Omkara, and therefore Om is prescribed here for the meditation. And now real discourse begins. After all this preparation, then the Yamaraja in the next verse, 7th verse. न जायते म्रियते वा विपश्चित् नायं कुतश्चिन्न बभूव कश्चित् अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे In Chiketa, the self about whom you asked, or the transcendental truth about you, because both of them are one. It looked like Nishiketa asked two questions as though. The first question was about Atma or the self. Second question was about the absolute reality that transcends all the relativity. But in giving reply, Yamaraja or the teacher does not make any distinction. Which means that the self alone is the absolute reality. That's the most beautiful thing that Vedanta teaches us. If nothing is, and simply the thought of that is very consoling. That Ishvara, that the limitless, that absolute reality is myself. Even if I do not see that, doesn't matter, but I am there. That is what it is. You can always take a solace in bringing to mind this fact that ultimately I am not what I take myself to be. I am not that mortal creature. I am not a helpless creature, even though that's what I feel right now. But that is not the reality about me. The reality is that the limitlessness, freedom, that is my nature. But I don't feel it, don't worry, keep on repeating. So that becomes then your meditation, Sometimes if the words Om, etc. do not mean, then whatever word is meaningful. If word limitless is meaningful, if happiness is meaningful, if love is meaningful, peace is meaningful, use a meaningful word. I am peace. If that is meaningful, or I am love, or I am happiness, or I am silence, So instead of using even a word of which we may or which may not understand or which is not very, very, familiar, or it doesn't create in me any kind of a feeling. Use a word that creates feeling. So you can use the word peace if that is meaningful. Use the word silence. Use the word happiness. Sanskrit word, English word, any word. So prayers were done in Sanskrit, should done in prayer. Words are only the medium for creating in us that feeling. Prayers were done with feeling. Any kind of religious thing should be done with feeling. That feeling is called worship or bhakti. So use a word which invokes bhakti. Use a form, a word, a method, anything that creates the spirit of bhakti. That is important. We get hung up with all kinds of ritual. With the rules and regulations, you don't want only 3 chachmanis. So sometimes they make this thing so intricate and that the whole thing is sometimes the very spirit is lost. I'm nothing against rituals, or all these are very useful things. But if ultimately understand that all of this is meant to create in us the feeling of worship. So who am I? If Brahman doesn't do anything to you, don't worry about Brahman. I am Brahman, it's okay. As I said, I am peace, I am silence, I am happiness, I am love, I am compassion. Whatever is relevant, whatever creates in me a feeling, makes me happy, comfortable. You can repeat that. So, it is true, Swamiji, but this mantra, effective, all right, but if the mantra doesn't mean anything to me, then what? Then instead of that, a word that is meaningful to me is okay. Because all words are the names of God anyway. So Yamaraja here doesn't make a distinction between self and that, because self, there's only one entity. You want to call it self, or want to call it God, whatever you want to call it, whatever you are comfortable with. So all that is used is pronoun. Even, na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. Now this verse is very familiar to all people in Bhagavad Gita with some variations. So Lord Krishna has quoted several verses from Kathopanishad and from other Upanishads also, but Kathopanishad finds more prominence because Kathopanishad discussion or the discourse also began in the context of death. Because Nachiketa's question was, Yeyam, because he himself died, So because Mrityavetva dadami, I am giving you to death, so death is the context there. And Nachiketa also asked Yamraja, Yeyam prete vichikitsa manushya, vichikitsa, the doubt remains when a person dies. So death is the context in the question of Nachiketa also. And therefore death is addressed, because my Lord death addresses death. By understanding the reality of death, we also understand the reality of life, we understand the reality. And therefore, with reference to death, death is the background here of the question as well as the answer. And therefore, the self can be expounded in many ways. Every Upanishad expounds it in its own way. Here the self expounded in the context of death, that is deathless. So na jayate mriyate va vipaschit. The word used for self is vipaschit. Now the common meaning of the word vipaschit is an intelligent one, Medhavi, an intelligent one, a learned one. But what is the primary attribute of the intelligence? Intelligence is the primary attribute of the intelligent. So there, Vipashchit means intelligent, but what is meant is intelligence. Or what is meant is consciousness. Because intelligence can only be in the conscious being. And therefore, Vipashchit means what? Consciousness. What kind of consciousness? Aviparibhuta Chaitanya Svabhavan. The consciousness that does not suffer from the rise and fall, from rising and setting, just like the sun is also light. But in the morning the sun rises, in the evening it sets. Consciousness is like sun, but devoid of this rising and setting, ever shining. There is something that ever shines. The self is consciousness that ever shines, which can never be switched off. So the waking, so what is consciousness? That because of which we become conscious. In waking state, I am always conscious because of consciousness. In the dream state also I am conscious of the dream object, also because of consciousness. But Swamiji, is it not that in the waking state there is one kind of consciousness because of which I am conscious of waking objects? In the dream there is another kind of consciousness because of which I become conscious of dream objects. First chapter of Panchadashi addresses this. It says, no, the consciousness with which one is conscious of waking objects, the same consciousness with which one is conscious of the dream objects. But there is no consciousness in deep sleep, Swami. There is no consciousness in deep sleep. Had there been consciousness in deep sleep, then would I not be conscious that I'm sleeping? I'm conscious that I'm awake. In dream I don't say I'm dreaming, but I'm awake in dream. But in deep sleep I am not conscious at all. So then the question remains whether or not there is consciousness in deep sleep or not. So there are those who believe that there is no consciousness in deep sleep. There is nothing. There is void. Shunyam, non-existence in deep sleep, and therefore non-existence is a reality. Asat. So there are Shunyavadins or Asatvadins who say that non-existence is ultimate reality. Vedanta says no, there is consciousness also in deep sleep state. But Swamiji, if there is consciousness in deep sleep state, how come I am not conscious of things? Because for being conscious of things, you not only require consciousness, but you require something else also. For example, for me to see these objects, colors and forms, not only do I require my eyes, but I also require the light to illumine those objects. Only eyes can see. Eyes can see light, you see. So when light is reflected on the names and forms, then only I can see. So eyes, in order for eyes to see, there is a sahakari karanam. A supporting element is required, named the light. If that light is not there, if there was pitch darkness here, then I could not see any colors and forms, even though eyes are open. And what do we say? Go and get, Mom, I don't see anything here, the child says. In pitch dark, I don't see anything. Even though he says, I don't see anything, in fact, he should say, I see the absence of everything. Because in saying that I do not see anything, seeing is required, is it not so? How can you say I don't see anything? It's only a reference to seeing something, then you say that I don't see anything. So when I say I don't see anything, there also seeing is involved. You can say technically that I see the absence of everything. Because seeing the presence of the forms and colors, we require the supporting sahakari karam called the light, which is not there. Therefore, I do not see anything specifically. I see, but not anything specifically. So eyes see in general, and light enables the eye, light and sense organs enable the eyes to see particular. Similarly, consciousness illumines everything in general. But the particular knowledge requires the sahakari supporting factor of mind and sense organs. It is the mind and sense organs which enable us to see the distinction between things. In the deep sleep, the mind and sense organs are not there, therefore the distinctions are not evident. So Vishesha Jnana, what we call particular knowledge, or knowledge of distinction between the different objects is not there in deep sleep because the faculty that creates that distinction, namely the sense organs and mind, they are not there. Consciousness shines. Like the eyes are seeing in the dark also. But that which would enable the eyes to see the distinction that light is not there, therefore seeing is there, but seeing of distinctions is not there in the dark. Similarly in the deep sleep also, consciousness is there, but consciousness of distinctions is not there because we require the sense organs and mind for knowing those distinctions. So we are aware of distinctions in the waking state, in the dream state, because those sense organs and mind are there. So in deep sleep also, consciousness shines in its own glory. Because it does not require anything else to shine. If consciousness required waking for it to shine, if it required mind for it to shine, or any other help, then of course consciousness would be also a relative principle. But that is called consciousness, or what we mean by consciousness is that which is self-effulgent. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandratarakam. Na tad bhasayate surya na shashanko. Meaning that you don't require all these luminaries to illumine the consciousness. They are illuminated by consciousness. You don't need the spots and pains to illumine the eyes illumine them. So vipassana means consciousness. What kind of consciousness? Consciousness that does not suffer this rise and fall or setting and rising. That does not suffer from any change or modification. Changeless, ever shining consciousness is what is meant by vipassana. Here Nachiketa, the truth about which you asked is vipassana, is consciousness. So avipariplutta chayam. Avipariplutta chaitanya. Pluta, viparipluta, that which suffers from extinction, it doesn't suffer from extinction, it ever shines. Does not undergo any change, no growth, no decay, that's the consciousness. So that consciousness is further described. So what's the nature of myself or self-consciousness? So if you ask the question, who am I, suppose, and thus you led an inquiry into what's my true nature, as Ramana Maharshi would do, then we find that everything other than consciousness is all superfluous. They are all relative. They can all be let go. So whatever which can be let go is not the true nature. Whatever you cannot let go alone is the true nature. Everything other than consciousness let go. The body also, meaning that you need not be aware of your body. You can let go the body from your awareness. Can you not? You can. In fact, we do when we are dreaming, there is no awareness of Kriya's body. You can let go the awareness of the sense organs also. And very very often we are not even aware of what in the waking state also. When you absorb in doing something, you are not aware where you are at that time, or not even aware of that. You don't hear the sound and things, even though this one is going on, but you don't hear that when you are absorbing something. It's only when you listen to this tape or this guided meditation you realize so many birds are there. We did not hear anything, Swamiji. There's so many sounds there, but we don't hear them. We only focus on the voice here, or the words. So things are, it's not that we necessarily, hear everything. It is possible for us to let go from our consciousness whatever we want. Maybe we have to develop that faculty of being able to focus the mind, but it is possible for us to let go of everything. I don't want to be conscious of the world. I don't want to be. Just withdraw my mind. I don't want to be conscious of the body. You have the freedom. It's a matter of folding up the mind. You can even give up consciousness of sense organs. Conscious of the mind also. Meaning that they fall in the category of that which you can let go. And it is true that we have to develop the ability of letting them go also. And for that is all preparation of karma yoga and upasana, etc. So that I develop the ability to focus my mind where I want to focus. Right now mind decides where I want to focus, but I must determine where I want to focus. For that the preparations were there. So you can let go. The consciousness. What is meant by letting go of the body is you don't have to get rid of the body. Just get rid of you can let go of the consciousness of the body, that's all. And consciousness of the mind. As it happens in deep sleep anyway, by God's grace, all goes away. So that way it becomes an experience from which we can learn. It is not necessarily for me that I exist because the body is, because I exist in deep sleep, even the body's awareness is not there. Or sense organs awareness is not there, or mind awareness, because I am there. Otherwise I can't wake up in the morning. If I did not exist in deep sleep, who wakes up then? If I did not exist in deep sleep, as some people claim, then every day, every morning a new fellow will wake up, isn't it? So when I wake up in the morning, what's my... Oh, I never knew. It is a new world, a new I. No, same idiot has woken up. That time to sleep. There is continuity. That means there is something that does not cease to exist. Other things can come and go on that platform, like a movie screen, so many things come and go. So waking comes, dream comes, sleep comes, they come and go. On that platform, on that screen, on which all the show is going on, then you can call it Turiya or Fourth, or you can call it the Self. Yamaraja is the word Vipaschit, consciousness. And then describe your consciousness. Na jayate mriyate va. Is neither born nor does it die. We'll continue in the next class. Om Purnamadan Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutravashakritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gurunatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavadyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. That you should listen to those passages or statements, Upanishads, of which Atma is the subject matter. For listening to Atma, we have to listen to the passages or mantras or statements, Upanishads, of which the subject matter is Atma. And you keep on listening to Atma in various ways. It's not that it's never going to be different. If it's different, then we don't want it because we won't want anything other than Atma. All we want is only one thing. We're not interested in listening. It's not an academic stuff here. That we can talk of black holes and these and that is all right. But this is meant only for dwelling all along, that our mind dwells upon one thing only in different ways. So each Upanishad and each passage provides us a way of dwelling upon Atma, contemplating upon Atma. So it doesn't matter whether we have listened to this verse or not, because it is never the same. Every time you listen to this, it is always different. Every teacher says it differently, and same teacher also says it differently. So I don't even remember how I said it 15 days ago. It's like a musician, and that every performance is really a unique performance. There's a lot of improvisation is there. That's called a good musician. Every artist also improvises, everybody. So a teacher also, it's never this, it's not repeating something or whatever it is, it's automatically, it is what takes place. So it's never the same. And therefore we should also have that frame of mind, to have a mind which is fresh, which is ready to listen to, without judging that, I already know this, I already heard this. Because knowing words is one thing and understanding things is a little different. So we don't confine ourselves to words and we don't understand what the meaning this is. It gives an opportunity to just develop on Atma, that's all. Vedanta says, Nayet kalam Vedanta chintaya. Asupte Ramvade kalam Nayet Vedanta chintaya. From the time that you wake up, the time that you go to sleep, from the time that you are born, the time that you die. Kalam ne, spend your time Vedanta Chintaya, in Chinta or dwelling upon Vedanta. It can be simply one sentence, you can dwell upon the whole life also. It doesn't have to be many things, doesn't have to be different. What is important is what you are dwelling upon. Now all of these I have to say because there is something inside. Now come, when is the next, when are you going, when are you finishing, when is the next mantra, when is the next text? We want to know something more advanced and something, but what is advanced? There is nothing more advanced than Atma. And so nothing more advanced than unfoldment of the Atma. What was there advanced? In terms of more technical words, more complicated, they can be. Yes, there are texts of all kinds, where depending upon, because mind needs some variety and therefore, of course, we provide the variety also. But understand that the important thing is that our mind dwells upon or contemplates upon the self. That is important. So that's the attitude that we have when we are listening to this. Rather than when will this finish, nothing in the, just be in the present, that's all it is. And that takes care of itself. There's no plan of how many things to finish, etc. And so it takes care, it decides itself how it proceeds. And so sometimes it just holds you up, sometimes it lets you go. But anyway, so this is just some additional remark here. Okay.